quadratic formula without looking at anything? Shh. Sam, you're looking.
Negative b plus or minus square root of.
She's staring at us.
B.
Keep going.
B squared minus 4, and then in parentheses a, and then times c, and then that's all that divided by 2a.
Okay, that's kind of sloppy, Joe.
Just making sure you
Okay, yeah, all that stuff. So, you guys notice that kind of this thing right here in the square root is kind of important.
Yeah.
B squared minus 4ac, because it kind of decides what kind of answers we're going to get. So they decided to call it the discriminant. You guys know what discriminate means?
Like tell the difference.
Yes. Okay, it's not necessarily racism. So it means to tell the difference between. So if you're going, if you need to go to the bathroom, it's important to discriminate between the guys and the girls' bathrooms. Oops.
You can do whatever you want.
No, we did not believe that. So it's not necessarily a bad word. So it means to tell the difference between. This thing inside the square root, if you know what it is, it tells you what kind of answers you're going to get. So if it comes out, there's kind of 4 possibilities. If it comes out positive, and it actually has a square root, like say if it comes out 9, and then you have the square root of 9 is 3. So if it actually has a square root, you get something like, I don't know, let's make something up, 5 plus or minus 3 over 2. It comes out as like normal answers.
Yeah.
And you guys know what kind of answers these are?
4 and -1.
Well,
Square.
sometimes they were fractions, but they're called rational answers. So you would get 2 rational answers. A rational is just anything that can be written in fraction form. So 2 and 8 and all those numbers are, you can write as 2 over 1. So most numbers are rational. But if it was positive but it doesn't have a square root, like say it's 13 or something, what kind of number is that? Irrational. So if it came out positive but no square root, you get 2 irrational answers. Irrational would be like square root of 13. That's irrational. Well, okay, the next one, I don't think it happened yesterday, but it's possible, and it will happen today. What if this just came out as 0? Well, it would kind of just, you'd get negative b plus or minus 0 over 2a, and then this kind of is nothing, so just be negative b over 2a. So basically you would get, because the plus or minus is gone, you'd only get one answer. And so it would be one rational. So if you get 0, you get one rational answer. I'll just leave that. Okay, and then what's the other option that I haven't listed that happened? Positive square root, positive no square root, 0, negative. Well, what did we get when we got a negative yesterday? Yeah, the imaginary answers. So the book, you could put 2 imaginary, but the book put 2 complex. Complex just means like the 3/4 plus or minus I squared of 5. It adds the real plus the imaginary together. That makes it complex. So that's maybe a little bit better way of saying it than just imaginary. Yeah, anyway, those are the 4 possibilities. So I think the way the book wanted you to use this is, well, I'm not going to make you do this though, but if you do just the discriminant, not the whole quadratic formula, just the discriminant, and you get like a positive with the square root, if it has 2 rational answers, that means it's factorable. Like we could have got the answers by factoring. if it doesn't have, if the square root doesn't come out nice, you get weird answers, and that means it couldn't have factored. So you have to use quadratic formula on that. Basically, my advice to you is if you know how to factor, and you can tell it's factorable, just do that right from the start, because factoring is usually quicker than quadratic formula. But if you're not sure whether it factors, or if you know it doesn't factor, then just use quadratic formula. Factoring works occasionally, quadratic formula works always. You guys got it? So, okay, that's the lesson part. Now we're gonna jump in. Actually, let me zoom out. We'll keep this in the corner for now. You probably should have written that down as notes for the...
Wait, could you?
I'll leave it right there.
Thanks.
Oh, let's go blue. The color wheel got messed up
Ow.
because the power flashed yesterday.
Leo has bad experiences with color wheels.
Is it like a racist thing, Leo? Okay, so on number 7, that's where we're starting, you guys notice?
It was kind of fun.
7 says x squared. Because it is bigger than normal. Okay. So we're doing the b squared minus 4ac, the discriminant. So we still need the a, b, and c. So what's my a, b, and c?
Yeah, I don't like it.
You're not a fan.
It's chunky. Look how weird his dot looks.
What'd you call me?
What? Look how weird the dot looks.
She said I'm chunky. Alright. Negative b is negative 4 plus or minus the square root of b squared. Whoops, I don't know what I'm doing. Ignore that. We're just doing b squared minus 4ac. So b squared minus 4ac. And that's all you have to do for this part.
Oh.
So, if I remember right, I think comes out as 144. Okay, so it's positive. Does 144 have a square root? Yes, does 12 times 12. So it's positive with a square root. That means it should have 2 rational answers. So our answer are 2 rationals. We're just doing b squared minus 4ac, the discriminant, the thing under the square root.
Oh, okay.
All right, are you guys good on that one?
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Number 9. W squared. Okay, so on 9, the a, b, and c is 116 and 64. So b squared minus 4ac is
16 times 16. Give me a second. Nope.
0.
What?
So if that thing is 0, you should get 1 rational answer. Rational.
I'm surprised that Dr. Pepper didn't do you dirty. Did you have a Dr. Pepper that you?
She did.
Like they were asking me that as I like moved the Dr. Pepper around.
And it fell off the bench.
That was so funny.
Lydia, when you drink pop, do you get a lot of hiccups?
Yeah, yep. Yep.
Totally.
She gets a hiccup, but not up front.
It does it early.
He's an emotional night that night.
I'm not sure you could blame Dr. Pepper on that. I've
Yeah.
never heard of
Because the bubbles go up, not down.
Dr. Pepper causing, yeah. Anyways, moving on. So b squared is negative 5 squared minus 4 times a times c. I probably didn't hear it.
I hope not. I hope it.
Okay. Well, without me solving this completely, this first part is 25, the second part is something big.
3
So
times
it's
4
going to come out as something negative.
12 times 6.
So 25 minus 72, something negative. So the answer would be
Too
too complex.
It's too complex to understand.
Sam.
Sam, go to the office.
Please, go away.
My punishment?
Sam leave.
You're unloved.
You're adopted. Sam, you're adopted. Oh, I probably shouldn't say that in case somebody was adopted in here. Hey, if you're adopted, that means somebody chose you. If you're natural, they were stuck with you.
This is true.
Also, if you're adopted, the parents have a receipt. Yeah, they do. They have legal papers.
Okay, on 13, we are not going to do the directions. We're just going to solve it, do the solving part.
Oh, sweet.
So basically it's you choose, do you want to factor or use quadratic formula? Factoring can be quicker, but it doesn't always work. So anyway, on 13, do you guys think that one can factor?
I forgot what the fact. Was that like the reverse foil thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, this one factors because, remember how the 3-term works? Been about a week since we've done factoring. What goes into x squared, x and x? What goes into 9 that adds up to 6? 3 and 3. And then you say, what x values would make those factors equal 0? Right,
Right, you
but
just say
yeah,
negative.
it's only an answer once though. So yeah, it's just negative 3. So factoring can be quick. Sometimes it gets harder than that though.
You gotta know when to fold them.
That's right.
Know when to
Okay.
What is it called when it's a negative and it doesn't have square root?
It's 2 irrationals.
When it's negative and doesn't have square root?
Yeah, because the square root would be part of your answer. That would be irrational. They probably made that list somewhere back here. Yeah, kind of the top of page 290. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the top of page 219 is kind of that table. They wrote it a little bit differently than I did, but kind of same. All right. On 15, is that going to factor?
No.
It might.
But
Um,
do you want to risk it?
Yeah, right. So it could, possibly, but it might take us a while to figure it out. So let's just go ahead and do quadratic formula. It's harder because there's a 4 on the front to tell. So, and actually this one, guys, I'll just tell you, it doesn't factor. So if you're not sure, just go ahead and jump into quadratic formula. Or if you're bad at factoring, just jump into quadratic formula. So A, B, and C are 4, 5, and negative 3. So negative B, whoops, negative B, come on baby. Negative B plus or minus.
B squared, which is 24.
Here's my secret to working with technology. You talk to it sweetly, and then if that doesn't work, then you start hitting it.
Sam would start hitting it first.
No. Trey, whenever his mouse doesn't work on his computer, will bang on the computer.
Dude, that's Ty, bro. He literally, like, he'll he'll get mad at foreign language and he'll like smack the part that's right
Okay,
next
when
to
I
the mouse
hang
pad.
my computer, it starts working again.
He was wondering why his computer doesn't
It's like
work
kids,
anymore.
some respond to positive affirmations, some respond to
He's like, I don't know what my
Physical
Chromebook
abuse.
is.
Physical.
I don't know what Chromebook
Physical
is
abuse.
anymore. Bro, you literally go like this to the side of it.
I asked the freshman, one of the freshman classes, how many of them got spanked, and it was every single one of them.
Felt.
They were raised right.
Lydia, poster child for getting whippings. Alright, so this one right here is 25 plus 48.
Is 98.
No, 25 plus
Oh, you're
48 is 73.
73
I know, but
does not.
Okay, yeah, does 73 square root of 73 simplify? No, that's a prime.
You do not.
If you don't recognize it from the times tables, or it's not even, or the threes trick doesn't work, it's
So is that
probably
the answer?
prime, or you're
No.
plugging the calculator. Can we do anything else?
No.
No, that is the answer.
I'm sorry.
She was guessing.
No. What?
What's the square root of that?
Just found my favorite catchphrase.
Okay,
No.
does 17 factor? What multiplies into 15 that adds up to 7? 5 times 3, does that add up 7?
Nope.
No, it doesn't factor. So we have to use
Just say it.
1, 7, 15. We have to use quadratic formula. So negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a.
Oh, you did that fast.
49 minus 60 is negative 11. Okay, which means imaginary, which means
You
split.
put the two below each thing.
Right, split it up. So negative 7 over 2 plus or minus square root of 11 over 2i.
if you plug that in your calculator, will it split it up like automatically?
Yeah, if you have a calculator that can do imaginary, yes.
I do not have one. What kind of calculator?
If, by the way, if you plug in the plus and you get a square root answer, the minus will be the square root answer also. You
Kind
guys
of-
know what I'm talking about?
What kind of calculator would you have to get to do imaginary?
The Casio.
Well, not all
Casio white
he's got a Casio too. Yeah,
The white ones do.
there's two kinds that I have that do it, and they both have white covers on them.
Oh, there's not text instruments that do it.
Yes, I think somebody in here. What kind of, Mallory, what kind of?
I have a Texas.
Oh,
It's a Texas.
I,
Shooting.
there's different kinds of Texas
Right.
instruments. I'm not sure, there are some Texas instruments that do square roots, I'm not sure if they do imaginary. That one definitely does it.
Mine does square roots, just not imaginary.
Okay. It might do it, but I haven't investigated enough to know. Okay, number 19. Okay, so what should we do first on 19?
Subtract 48.
Subtract the 48 over, because we want 0 on the right side.
Mine's better.
Okay, there is a kind of a trick that can make this problem a little easier. Does anybody think they know what it
Deuce
is?
by 2.
Divide both sides by 2. Everything's divisible by 2.
Divide.
What happens when we divide the right side by 2?
Stay the same one.
Oh, man.
You can factor it.
Oh,
What
no.
do you, what?
Okay, you don't really want to factor out a 2, you just want to divide by 2 to get rid of it. And we can do that because it's an equation, so we can just divide both sides by 2. Now it's easier to factor if it is factorable because it's just a t squared. The quadratic term is just a 1 coefficient. What multiplies into negative 28 that adds
24.
up, or negative 24 that adds up to negative 5?
Negative 8 and 3.
Negative 8 and positive 3. So what t values would make these equal to 0?
3 and 8. Negative 3.
Hey, negative 3.
Now, did I have to divide by 2? No. So we could have tried factoring it without dividing by 2, which would have been a little harder. Or we could have also done quadratic without dividing by 2, but it's a little bit harder. The quadratic wouldn't change that much. Okay, 21. So kind of same thing. We want to move everything to the left, so I'm going to add the 11a and minus the 10 over. So I get 6a squared plus 11a minus 10. Does that factor?
No.
Well, maybe, but it'd be hard to tell. So let's just go ahead and do quadratic formula. Negative b plus or minus square root of b squared. You guys remember 11 squared? Minus 4ac over 2a. I think from memory this was square root of 361. Does 361 have a square root?
No. Wait, actually, let me check. 19.
Okay, so the fact that it came out as 19, a perfect square, means it was factorable, but it probably would have taken us as long or longer to figure it out as just go ahead and do the quadratic formula. So if there's a number on the front, probably, unless you're really good at factoring, you might just want to go ahead and do the quadratic formula. So remember, we couldn't leave it like this though, right? Negative 11 plus 19 is 8. 8 over 12 is, divided by 4, 2/3. Negative 11 minus 19 is negative 30 over 12.
6.
Divide those by 6.
5 halves.
Negative 5 halves. Computer's slowing down. I don't know why it's done sometimes. There's no b value. Yeah, put 0 there. Oh, you're talking about number 20. So, do you guys remember how 20 factors? Square minus a square? Like what goes into t squared, t and t? What goes into negative 9?
3, negative
3 and negative 3. T plus 3, t minus 3. Factoring is very quick on that one. Alright, we're on 23.
Is that just the answer?
What t values make those factors equal 0?
3, negative 3.
Alright, so on 23 I'm going to add the 28c over. So we got 48c squared plus 28c.
It's 49
49 c squared plus 28c plus 4. Does that factor?
No.
Well,
Almost.
Possibly.
actually I can tell it does, because what goes into 49? 7c and 7c. And what goes into 4? 2 and 2. And then if you do the, remember how you do these? Outside is 14, inside is 14. That makes 28. It does factor. I could kind of see this one coming.
So
Alright, do you guys remember how these work? What c values make this 0?
negative 7 times. Wait, 2.
Negative 2 over 7, yeah. Negative 2 sevenths.
Oh, thank you.
What is wrong with you?
We will be going.
You're a minute late.
I got so caught up.
If you want to watch 25, and I'll talk about 26 here in a minute, after you're done. Top
Thanks.
secret.
I think you actually need to
Since you've been gone.
This has one answer. You listen to that song every day.
I can breathe for the first time. It's dedicated to you two.
Please.
I'm so moving on. Yeah. Bye.
Are you singing?
That's my backpack. There's no hair there.
Just donate it to us.
You know what I asked you for? I asked one.
What?
Okay.
What's in your
I'll let
hands?
you guys work on it some more.
It'd be more awkward for me to take it.
It'd be more awkward for you to ask.
What?
So just hand it over.
No, I'm good. I want to see
Okay,
it play out.
do you guys see 26 now that they're gone? Does anybody have any bright ideas for 26? Referring to last, like, Thursday assignment? How could we take care of that square on the left? Square root. Do you guys remember what we did when we square rooted both sides, though?
Plus or minus.
The right side was, yeah. So you could change 26 into 4a minus 7 equals plus or minus 3. And then just try to get... So then you'd add 7, and then you'd divide by 4. So it's like 7 plus or minus 3 over 4. You guys know what I'm talking about? Maybe. Okay, anyway, on 25, we can't, even though it looks similar, we can't use that trick because if we square root 5x minus 1, that doesn't really simplify. It's still a mess. So instead of using the square root of both sides, what am I going to have to do? I'm just going to go ahead and square the left side. Like, how do I square the left side? Three x plus 1 times 3x plus 1. It's a FOIL problem. So yeah, you can't use the square root trick on this one. Anyway, if you square the left side, first is 3x times 3x, 9x squared. Outside is 3x, inside is 3x. I'm just foiling here. Last is 1 times 1. Okay. Then it looks like that. Now what do we do?
Subtract 5x plus 1.
Right. Get rid of, clean up the right side. Minus 5x plus 1.
It's called the head.
Okay, now it looks normal.
Get it wrong. Get it lucky.
Does that factor?
No.
No, it doesn't. So we need a, b, c. Negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. That is negative 71 in the square root. So we need to split it. Do I have room down here? Not really. So it's negative 1 over 18 plus or minus square root of 71 over 18 I. You could do something similar on 26, like foil the left side, but it'd definitely be easier if you just square root both sides and do plus or minus on your right. Like this, completing the square from Thursday.
Can you make an intro for your channel?
Maybe.
What's up, guys? Don't make it 10 times better.
I would pay for you to make an intro for your channel.
I'll say this is math.